Also, Alex Scott is also highly rated by Arsenal and by Manchester United. Alex Scott has many clubs around him this summer, but Bournemouth insist they want to keep the player and they want to offer him a new contract. Let's see if Bournemouth will be able to keep him, because one thing is to say that, one thing is in the next 2 months resist in case they receive big proposals, but Alex Scott is one of the players considered internally by Arsenal and by Man United. Both clubs like him. At the moment, from Bournemouth is no, he's not leaving. But in case they open doors to an exit for big money, we have to follow these two clubs.
Hello Gunners, welcome back to Arsenal Daily Talk, your #1 destination for the latest Arsenal transfer news, breaking updates, match analysis and everything happening at the Emirates. If you love Arsenal as much as we do, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's dive straight into today's massive Arsenal news. Come on, you Gunners! Today's breaking news could be the beginning of one of the smartest moves Arsenal make this summer. According to respected transfer expert Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal have made contact regarding Bournemouth midfielder Alex Scott. While Bournemouth's current position is that they want to keep the talented young midfielder and are even working on offering him a new contract, Arsenal's interest is real and genuine. This is not just another transfer rumour spreading across social media. Romano reports that Arsenal have made inquiries to understand the conditions of a potential deal. Bournemouth responded by making it clear that Scott is currently not for sale, but every Arsenal fan knows one thing about football: the transfer window can change very quickly. Could this be another deal that starts quietly before exploding into one of the biggest stories of the summer? Let's break down exactly why Mikel Arteta wants Alex Scott, why Arsenal believe he could become one of the Premier League's elite midfielders, and whether this transfer could still happen before the window closes. The first question many supporters are asking is simple: why Alex Scott? Arsenal's recruitment has changed dramatically over the last few years. Instead of buying players purely because they are famous names, the club now focuses on football intelligence, versatility, mentality, and long-term development. Alex Scott ticks almost every one of those boxes. Although still very young, Scott has already shown maturity far beyond his age. Whether playing under pressure, receiving the ball in tight spaces, or helping his team progress possession, he looks comfortable against Premier League opposition. That calmness is exactly the type of quality Arteta demands from his midfielders. When Arsenal dominate possession, midfielders must constantly receive the ball while surrounded by opponents. One poor touch can lead to a dangerous counter-attack. Scott rarely panics. Instead, he scans the pitch, protects the ball, and chooses intelligent passes. These are qualities that cannot easily be taught. But perhaps the biggest reason Arsenal admire him is his incredible versatility. Scott is not limited to one role. He can play as a traditional number 8, driving forward and linking midfield with attack. He can operate deeper when needed, almost like a number 6, helping build attacks from the back. He is also capable of playing further forward between the lines, creating chances and supporting the striker. For Arteta, that flexibility is priceless. Modern football demands players who can adapt during matches without needing substitutions. Scott gives Arsenal exactly that. Imagine Arsenal changing formation during a game. Scott could begin as an attacking midfielder before dropping deeper to help control possession. Very few young players possess that tactical intelligence. And that's one reason Arsenal's recruitment department has continued monitoring his development. The next question is perhaps even more exciting. Could Alex Scott become the perfect long-term midfield partner for Martín Zubimendi? Now Gunners, here's where this story becomes even more exciting. Arsenal fans have been asking one big question ever since the club strengthened its midfield plans. Who will become the long-term partner for Martín Zubimendi? If Arsenal truly believe Zubimendi is the player who will control the tempo from deep, then they also need someone alongside him who can drive the team forward, carry the ball through pressure, press relentlessly, and contribute in both attack and defence. Could Alex Scott be that player? Let's break it down. Imagine an Arsenal midfield where Zubimendi sits at the base, calmly dictating possession, while Scott operates slightly ahead of him. Zubimendi wins the ball and distributes it. Scott receives between the lines, turns quickly, beats his marker, and drives Arsenal into dangerous attacking positions. That combination could give Arsenal a completely different dimension. Scott isn't the type of midfielder who hides from the ball. He constantly demands possession, even when opponents are pressing aggressively. That's exactly the mentality Mikel Arteta values. One of Scott's greatest strengths is his ball-carrying ability. Modern football isn't just about passing anymore. Sometimes the quickest way to break an opposition press is to carry the ball 20 or 30 metres yourself. Scott excels at that. He glides past opponents with confidence, creating space for teammates and forcing defenders out of position. Arsenal have occasionally lacked that directness from midfield, especially against teams that defend with a low block. But Scott offers more than flair. His work rate is exceptional. Arteta demands relentless pressing from every player. The moment Arsenal lose possession, they try to win it back immediately. Scott has shown that intensity in the Premier League. He presses intelligently, tracks runners, and isn't afraid to do the hard work without the ball. That's another reason Arsenal's recruitment team admire him. And let's not forget something that often goes unnoticed by supporters. He's homegrown. Premier League and UEFA squad registration rules make homegrown players extremely valuable. Every top club needs a balanced squad, and signing talented English players helps maintain that balance. Scott gives Arsenal quality today and flexibility for the future. Now here's where things get complicated. Arsenal aren't alone. Reports suggest Manchester United and other Premier League clubs have also been monitoring Scott's development. Whenever a young English talent becomes available, competition is almost guaranteed. If multiple clubs enter the race, Bournemouth could suddenly find themselves in a very strong negotiating position. At the moment, Bournemouth insists Scott is not for sale. They've even begun discussions over a new contract because they see him as one of the club's biggest long-term assets. But football changes quickly. We've seen it many times before. A club says a player isn't available. Weeks later, a significant offer arrives. Negotiations begin. Eventually, a transfer is completed. Could history repeat itself? If Arsenal decides Scott is one of Arteta's priority targets, would Bournemouth really reject a huge offer worth tens of millions of pounds? That's the question everyone will be watching as the transfer window develops. Fabrizio Romano's update doesn't mean a deal is close. It doesn't mean personal terms have been agreed. It doesn't mean Bournemouth have accepted an offer. What it does confirm is something very important. Arsenal have made contact. That tells us Scott is firmly on Arsenal's radar, and when Arsenal make inquiries about a player, it's usually because they've already completed extensive scouting and believe he fits their long-term project. This isn't a panic move, it's strategic planning. Arteta and the recruitment team are looking beyond this season. They're building a squad capable of competing for Premier League and Champions League titles year after year. Alex Scott fits that profile perfectly. So Gunners, here's the question for you. Would you sign Alex Scott this summer? Do you think he has what it takes to become Arsenal's next great midfielder and the perfect long-term partner for Martín Zubimendi? Or should Arsenal spend their money on a different target? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below because we read as many of your opinions as possible. If you enjoyed today's breaking news update, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Arsenal Daily Talk, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Arsenal transfer update. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, come on you Gunners!